Okay, so let's go throughout how to multiply two matrices. So let's start. We have two matrices, one called A, the dimensions is m rows and n columns. And the second one is B, which is n rows and p columns. Now, in order for the multiplication to be valid, A times B equals the result, which is C, we need that the inner dimensions match, meaning that the number of columns of the matrix on the left will be equals the number of rows of the matrix on the right. Okay, so if you put them one near the other, you need to that this one and that one, the one that are close together, will match. Okay, if they're not, you cannot do the multiplication. So let's start to see how to calculate the multiplication. The general formula for this is the element in the I row and j column of the new matrix C is written as Cij is calculated by this by, but remember this formula is quite hard, so let's see how it works and then we can come back um, to this one. But you can see that I and j are like, we want, for example, C1, 2, which is C on the first row and second column. Then we take all the let's call them entries from matrix A on the row that correlate to the left side of what is written in I, namely I, and we take all the elements on this row and the corresponding all the elements on the J column of the second matrix, all the elements, and one by one, the first in the row I, the first in the column J, multiply, add the second on the row I and the second on the column J, multiply and then add and continue and continue. Let's see how it works. It will be much easier with an example. So here is A and B, two matrices. You can see that A is 2 rows on 3 columns and B is 3 rows on 2 columns. Now, can you multiply? You check if the number of columns, which is 3 on A, equals the number of rows, which is again 3 on B. So we can multiply A by B when A is on the left and B is on the right, but if you try B times A, so you need that the number of columns of B will equal the number of rows of A, and this is also valid, so we could also do B times A, but we will do A times B. Okay, so we'll do A times B and get a matrix C. Now, what will be the dimensions of the result? You can look on this one, it will be very easy because the result will be what is here and what is here, namely the result will be m rows and p columns. So this will be the result, the dimensions of C. Remember to take the inner for checking if the multiplication is valid and the outer dimensions to see what the dimensions result. Okay, so here we have 2 rows and 2 columns, so this will be the result for C. So let's start with computing. So for the first element of C, namely C11, what I will do is take the first row of A and multiply it by the first column of B, element by element, and adding them all together. 1 times 7 plus 2 times 9 plus 3 times 11. This will bring a result, and this will be on row. I took the first row in the first column, so this will be correlated to C11. For the second one, for C12, I will take, here it's 1, so I need to take the first row of the left matrix, A in our case, and the second column of the second matrix, namely the second column of B. So I'll multiply 1, 2, 3 by 8, 10, and 12. So this will be the multiplication term by term, 1 times 8 plus 2 times 10 plus 3 times 12, sum that all together, and this will give you the entry on row 1 and column 2 of the result matrix C. And we continue C21, namely take the second row and of the left matrix and the first row of the right matrix, and multiply. Namely, take 4, 5, 6 and multiply it by 7, 9, 11. We'll do it term by term and get the result for C21 and for C22. Again, take the second row of A, second column of B, multiply term by term, sum that all up, and get the result. And this is the result you see. The result C11, C12. You see the result here for the matrix C. Okay, so this is the end. This is how we multiply matrices. Remember to check if you can do the multiplication by inner dimensions. The result will be the outer dimensions, and then you have this formula, but it's much easier to just maybe intuitively remember how to do that and multiply, do it by entry, and that get the result for C. And that's it. This is how we multiply matrices. Thank you all very much. And thank for ChatGPT for writing it down. Thank you all for watching, and that's it.